I knew something was off the moment the waiter asked, "Is the rest of your party running late?" I smiled reflexively. "They're on their way," I said. They weren't. The table had been reserved for 6. One for each person I thought still gave a damn: my mom, my brother Tyler, my cousin Natalie, Uncle Jack, Cam, my best friend from college, and me. It wasn't my birthday, or an engagement, or anything flashy. Just a dinner to celebrate my promotion. Creative director after 5 years of grinding in an ad firm that once mistook me for the intern. But that night? I sat alone. I wasn't sad. Not yet. I wasn't even angry. Just stupidly hopeful. Dressed in a blue wrap dress I never wore, heels that blistered, staring at the restaurant door like it might open with a surprise chorus of "Gotcha!" and hugs. Instead, I got a text. From my mother. "You're not exactly a priority right now. We'll catch up soon. Enjoy your dinner." I read it 3 times. There was no "sorry," no "congrats." Just those words. Clinical. Sharp. Like I was a missed meeting. Behind me, someone clinked a glass and sang happy birthday. I watched the waiter place 6 menus on the table. Then remove 5. I thought that message was just a slap. It was a blueprint. Because when I got home and sat in the dark, still in my heels, scrolling through old texts and bank transfers, a familiar ache started to sharpen into something else. Clarity. Over the years, I'd sent thousands to cover Natalie's emergency rent, helped Tyler fund his 3rd can't fail startup, paid for Thanksgiving catering, mortgage payments, even utilities for a house I hadn't lived in since I was 22. Why? Because I could. Because I was the capable one. "You're just so good at managing things," Mom always said. "Not everyone's built like you, sweetheart." They called it generosity. I started calling it what it was, debt. And then, like a punchline delivered an hour too late, Natalie sent a photo. Tyler. New motorcycle, key in hand. Everyone else around him. My mom. Uncle Jack. Glasses raised. Celebrating the dreamer. The caption read. My $2,000 down payment had bought the cake. The timestamp? 1 hour after my mom's text. They hadn't forgotten me. They just chose Tyler. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just took off my heels, poured a glass of wine, and pulled open the spreadsheet I'd buried 6 tabs deep on my laptop. Family support private, do not delete. Every payment I'd made over the last 5 years, every dollar given with a soft smile and an unasked question. Color-coded by recipient. Mortgage. Car repairs. Utility bills. Groceries. Rent. Loans. The total? $82,410.37. That's not generosity. That's funding a lifestyle for people who treat you like a walking ATM with a good attitude. And yet, it was the photo, Tyler's smug peace sign, the shiny motorcycle key I helped pay for, that finally broke me. They threw him a party the night I sat alone at a table set for 6. And not one of them thought I was worth a text that said, "We're sorry." So I did the first selfish thing I've done in years. I logged into the shared mortgage account. The one I'd been paying quietly since Dad passed away and Mom said she couldn't manage it. For now. The payment was set to autopay, $1, $8.30 every 10th of the month. I clicked cancel. No warning. No. Are you sure? Just a soft green checkmark. Done. Then I drove to my mother's house. I didn't knock. I didn't go inside. I stuck a post-it on the door. Let him handle it now. Underneath in smaller writing. You raised me to care for everyone else. You never taught me to care for myself. Then I left. The next morning, I woke up to 42 missed calls. 17 from Mom. 9 from Tyler. A handful from Natalie. Even 1 from Uncle Jack. I didn't answer any of them. But I listened to every voicemail. Mom's was first, tight voice, thin with panic. Macy, what did you do? The bank called. The payment didn't go through. Tyler's finally doing well. You're going to undo everything. Undo everything? I wanted to scream. Undo everything? I built everything. I kept the lights on. I kept the rent paid. I was the infrastructure. Then Tyler's message. You just pulled the plug without even telling us? You're making Mom freak out. You could have at least talked to us first. Like how they talked to me before hosting a party with my money? Natalie's was the worst. Okay. Wow. So now you're punishing all of us over one dinner? Grow up, Macy. You always act like a martyr. Tyler's been hustling too. He finally gets a win and you make it about you. One dinner. That's what she called it. Not a decade of sacrifices. Not the slow, suffocating drain of always being the one who showed up. Just one dinner. I stared at my phone, scrolled through the missed calls like they were some puzzle that might spell out an apology. None of them said sorry. None of them asked if I was okay. They just wanted their machine turned back on. Cam texted me later that day. My best friend. The only one who knew everything. My mom said your mom called her. Said you're spiraling? That you're having a breakdown. You okay? I stared at it for a second, then replied. No. I'm not spiraling. I'm finally standing still. Cam replied instantly. Proud of you. For real. And I cried. Not because of the betrayal. But because it was the first time someone saw me, and didn't ask for anything in return. 2 days later, my phone rang again. Unknown number. I didn't answer. By now I knew the pattern: panic, guilt, manipulation in soft tones. None of it real. None of it new. But that evening, I saw something that made my stomach turn. Through the blinds of my apartment window, headlights swept across my living room. A motorcycle engine revved once, then cut. I peeked out. Derek. Leather jacket. Aviators. Pacing the parking lot like he was auditioning for an apology he hadn't written yet. His bike gleamed under the streetlight, parked dead center like some kind of offering. I stayed upstairs. Arms crossed. Watching. He called someone, loudly. She's being insane, man. Like, yeah, I used the money for the bike. But it's not like I scammed her. He laughed. I didn't. I just stood there, behind the glass, watching the person I used to drop everything for, groceries, rent, bailouts, strut around like he was the victim. For once, I didn't feel the tug. No instinct to go down. No urge to fix it. I just watched. And when he finally sped off, frustrated that I hadn't come running, it felt peaceful. The next morning was payday. For the first time in 5 years, my account didn't hemorrhage. No mortgage transfer. No sudden, emergency deduction. No slow bleed masked as love. Just my money. Sitting there. Whole. I made real coffee, not the instant kind I used to drink because I was saving for their crises. I sat on my balcony, sun on my face, the kind of light that doesn't ask you to earn it. Across the street, a woman walked her corgi. A kid kicked a soccer ball off a curb. Same world. But it felt different. Not because it changed. Because I did. That afternoon, I deleted the mortgage account. Wiped the spreadsheet off my desktop. Tossed the old receipts into the trash. In their place, I created a new folder. Title: What I Owe Myself. Inside, a blank document. Waiting. It wasn't about revenge. It was about recovery. Peace. Birthdays. Boundaries. The right to say no and not feel cruel. The space to exist without being useful. I booked a solo trip to Porto. Bought the leather jacket I'd always waited for a sale on. Signed up for a local writing retreat. Pulled out the half-finished novel I abandoned when I was still funding their dreams instead of mine. That night, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Didn't answer. Didn't have to. Because I already knew what it would be: a gentle demand, a guilt-laced request, a new emergency in sheep's clothing. So I flipped my phone over. poured another cup of tea, and kept writing. 3 days after I deleted the shared account, the bank called. A woman with a clipped voice asked, "Is this Olivia Mason?" She mispronounced it slightly. I didn't correct her. "We've noticed 2 consecutive missed payments on the property at 214 Bryson Lane. Are you still the financial contact?" "No," I said calmly. "I removed myself from the title 3 years ago. I was assisting voluntarily." She hesitated. "The homeowner listed you as the responsible party." "Of course she did." I exhaled through my nose. "I'm afraid that's no longer the case." Another pause. Then, "Understood. Thank you." She hung up. That evening, Derek came back. This time, he didn't come to the door. He just parked the bike in front of the building and started pacing again, phone to his ear, voice pitched to perform. "It's not my fault," she just snapped. "I don't know what to do." I watched from my window, face unreadable. Let them fall. They weren't unraveling because I left. They were unraveling because they never learned how to stand without leaning on me. The next day was Saturday. For the first time in years, I woke up rested. The kind of sleep that doesn't carry tension in its corners. I opened my banking app. My paycheck was untouched. No temporary transfers. No overdue bills. No bleeding through 100 little leaks labeled love. Just mine. I made waffles. With real fruit. Ate them slowly. Then I opened that new folder, What I Owe Myself. And I started typing. Time. Joy. Boundaries. Friendships I'd put on hold to fix someone else's chaos. Space to be ordinary and still worthy. Later that week, I got an email from my mom. Subject line. "We need to talk about the house." No. Hi. No apology. Just a wall of text that started with, "I don't know what's gotten into you," and ended with, "You're hurting this family." I didn't respond. That night I lit a candle. Booked a second solo trip, this time to Iceland. The phone buzzed again. A new number. Voicemail this time. I played it. Derek. "Look, Liv, I know we messed up. But this whole thing is petty. It's money. You're acting like I don't know, like we left you or something." I didn't laugh. But I almost did. They hadn't left me. They never showed up. I didn't lose my family when I walked away. I lost them the day they taught me that I was only valuable when I was giving. All I did was finally agree with them.